So for health departments, there's one board, Public Health Accreditation Board, so FAB is the acronym. It's a nonprofit organization, and it advances the quality and performance of the public health department. So it measures our performance against a national set of standards that are practice-focused and evidence-based, and they also believe in continuous quality improvement. So they started at version 1. They're on version 1.5, and then early this year, they'll go into version 2.0. So they're continuously reevaluating their standards and taking feedback from health departments that have become accredited. There are 6 health departments in Nebraska that have undergone accreditation and were awarded accreditation through FAB. So this slide just kind of shows, as I was saying, it's kind of this continuous cycle. So we work to improve ourselves, and then we go through accreditation, and then we continue to improve ourselves, and then we go through reaccreditation. So once we're accredited, it doesn't stop. We, every 5 years, have to undergo reaccreditation standards and show that we are maintaining those standards. Every year after we're accredited, for those 4 years before we're accredited, we have to do annual reports. And so again, it's just continuous quality improvement. So just to refresh everybody, public health is driven by 3 core functions and 10 essential services of public health. And governance provides oversight via these constructs, kind of like how the health department is interlocked with our Board of Health. There's governance throughout these. So the triangles are the 10 essential services, and then on the outer ring, assessment, policy, development, and assurance are the 3 core functions. And the triangles, that's shorthand. So monitor health, diagnose, and investigate, that's shorthand. There's actually longer definitions. But this is how we, public health in general operates. So what FAB has done, and I'm not going to read you these slides, but this is really just to show you this slide and then the next one. So on the left-hand side is the essential service. So monitor health on the triangle, that's the shorthand, and then the long hand for the first essential service is monitor health status to identify and solve community health problems. So then D, domain, that's how FAB operates. They have 12 domains, and the first 10 domains specifically parallel the 10 essential services. That's how FAB makes it. So as you can see on the left-hand side and then on the right-hand side how they correspond. So left-hand essential services, right-hand the domains, the first 10 domains. As I said, there's 12. So here's just going through, I wanted to make sure it's big enough. So this is then 6 through 10 for essential services and 6 through 10 for domains. So again, you can see, for example, essential service 8, assure competent public and personnel health care workforce. So it's ensuring our workforce. Domain 8, maintain a competent public health workforce. So when we are going through accreditation, we are showing documentation that we are meeting these domains based on the certain standards that FAB has set, but they directly are in line with the essential services of public health. And the 3 core functions are kind of the overarching weaved throughout all the essential services and domains. So as I said, there are 12 domains. The first 10 are the essential services parallels. And then domain 11 is administration, and domain 12 is governance. So administration is our administration, a lot of the budgets and the finance things, that type of just oversight of upper management leadership. And then domain 12 is governance, so that would be you guys. It's called governance because some health departments they go to a board of commissioners or their county commissioners, and so domain 12 is we show how we engage the board. So that's all the documentation around that is showing how we interlock with you and the partnership that we have with our governing entity. So that is the 10 domains, and then 11 and 12. So you have handouts for this next slide because I know how tiny this can be, but this is our accreditation timeline, like our personal one. So we started in September 2018, where I was brought on as the accreditation coordinator, switched off a grant coordinator onto accreditation coordinator. And see, this is so tiny, I gotta look at it here. So then in October, we formed a team, and the team is all of our leadership. So all of the division chiefs, the health director, all of the supervisors, and Dr. O'Keefe. And so we meet on a weekly basis, and we just start looking at the going through all the documentation we have and making sure we're meeting the standards. So in the yellow box, that's where we are now. So we are continuing to collect and vet documentation on a weekly basis. And then our goal is by end of June 2020 to have all the documentation vetted. And then we'll go back and start putting the bells and whistles on the documentation per FAB's requirements. And then we will undergo a mock site visit, because once we submit all our documentation, we'll have an actual site visit for 2 or 3 days. And so our goal is September 1st of 2020, we submit all of our documentation to FAB. So it has all its bells and whistles and cherry on top. And then there's some back and forth as they do a completeness review. Then they do a site visit. Then they decide if we're accredited or not. And then we maintain that for 5 years. So that is our timeline. Kind of where we're at. So by next spring or late winter, we will be having our site visit based on this timeline. All right, so that's kind of an overview, reminder, showing you where we're at. So this is a chart we use to monitor our progress. So the important thing when you look at this is to know we want all of the columns to turn orange. So along the bottom is the 12 domains. And as they turn orange, it means we have vetted that entire domain. It will eventually turn green when it's ready for upload and all those bells and whistles are on top. But as you can see, domain 10 is orange. We're completely done vetting domain 10. So administration. No, it's the 10th essential service. Yes. It's the 10th essential service. Let's look at what the 10th essential service is. There, it's the team. My wonderful team says it is research. And we're done with that. And so red means we're at a place we haven't, that's incomplete. Yellow means that there's 2 examples required and we've done 1. And then orange means we're good to go. So this is the same thing, just in a kind of a chart form so that you can see it this way. So there are 213 pieces of required documentation. And when we say documentation, it's very rarely just one document. You usually have to have several, the main document and then supporting documentation. And there are 213 required documentation when you take all 12 domains together. And we've vetted 142. So we have about, as you can see on the red pie, we have 33% left to finish by the end of June. So that's kind of where we're at. And again, we meet weekly for anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. That is what, so there you have now refreshed on FAB and kind of why we're doing it and where we're at.